a copy, so I hope you don't mind if I read off my laptop. As I try to learn how to write and realize how hard it is, I admire more people that have successfully completed stories. This is a chapter I wanted to write about technical diving in deep water, in the deep ocean, for archaeological purposes on a shipwreck. But as I got into it, for tonight, I kind of left all the technical parts out and just talked about the human experience of what it's like to dive. So here we go. Before dawn, a group of deep-sea divers huddle over their coffee on the deck of a barge in the South China Sea. Some are joking around, some smoking cigarettes. It's a French team, after all. And as the not yet visible sun lights up the top of a thunderhead on the horizon, you can see that the sea is glassy calm, and occasional fish fighting schooling fish break the surface on the horizon. Two of the divers, the first team of 6, are suited for a deep descent. The chief diver gives them a final motherly check-over before smacking them on the back and saying, "Bon, au charbon," into the darkness. The leap from the deck of the barge to the surface of the sea is a long one. The heavy diving gear and tanks make a big impact, and a cloud of bubbles surround you. As you sink through it, the refreshing water clears the last remnants of sleep from your brain. Clearing your ears as your heavyweight harness drags you down, you clear the bubbles and can see. The clarity of the water is breathtaking, but as your buddy emerges from his own impact cloud, there is no time to waste. You kick hard with your fins and flip head down to begin slow, powerful strokes to speed your descent. Clearing your ears as the pressure increases, your eyes adjust to the dark purple below. And as your eyes adjust, a scene appears. In the middle of a white sandy bottom lies a shipwreck. It fell from the surface in a storm 500 years before, fully loaded with cargo, now waiting for you. Like a dive bomber, you orient the trajectory of your descent. Efficiency is key. At this depth, working time on the bottom is extremely limited, so every wasteful moment must be considered and, if possible, eliminated. Your sight today is amidship, a section of cargo hold neatly stacked with bowls. Aiming for a patch of clear sand nearby, you flare to slow your descent, already pulling off your first fin before you land on the spot. Shaking off the nitrogen narcosis, the drug-like stupor that they used to call the rapture of the deep, you secure both fins to the dredging gear, and now it's time to work. As this is maritime archaeology, not treasure hunting, everything must be recorded in detail. On the grid that covers the wreck, this is square R-4, a cargo compartment between two bulkheads that had a mix of fine blue and white porcelain coming from the reign of Emperor Hongsu, one of the Ming Dynasty emperors, date around 1498. Some metal objects in the same compartment had corroded in the sea and caused a fusing concretion. As you suction away the sand and debris, each stack of bowls that comes free is placed in an onion sack and labeled with notes taken on your slate. Rising to your feet, you lift the heavy sack and carry it walking around the stern of the wreck to the staged elevator litter basket. You see your dive buddy hard at work on the other side. He smiles and holds up a vase in Swankalot style. Once the basket is full, a buoy on the cable is released, signaling to the tender on the surface to activate the winch and recovery. 30 minutes of bottom time goes by quickly. Sometimes there are chores to do. Sometimes you need to move the dredge. Don't forget to process the sieve. Sometimes things break or go wrong and you have to deal with it. But shortly before your time is up, a glance upwards towards the brightening surface sees the next team, your relief, plummeting down like skydivers. When they get there, you have a brief moment to prepare to explain to them without words what you've accomplished what you've observed and suggest what they might pursue or look for. Be sure to report the presence of dangerous stonefish or other hazards. Then you're off towards the ascent line, hopping on one foot while pulling your fins on one at a time. The 30 minutes of bottom time has a strict decompression obligation. The decompression tables are calculated by oil rig diving companies to avoid losing divers to decompression sickness over long projects. Any unforeseen delay and you miss the time of your required ascent, even if it's just by a minute, you're required to skip to the next profile. You do not interpolate between the profiles. 1 extra minute on the bottom you will pay for with 30 extra minutes on the swing set in decompression. An extra 30 minutes could cost you hours. Okay. So as you begin, slowly, hand over hand on a steel cable, one fist touching the top of the other, making sure that you exhale and that even the tiniest bubbles, the misty champagne effervescent type bubbles, are still rising faster than you are. Take your time, you will be there for hours. Now you have the time to look around. The sun has come up and gleams off the side of the barge with Kodachrome brightness, deep blue, blinding yellow, vivid reds. You can see some silhouettes of divers walking back and forth on the edge of the barge. Over there, in the shadow of the platform, you see barracuda, fathoms long, immobile, giant eyes seeing everything. You keep creeping up. You arrive at the deepest oxygen stage. Consult the schedule. 5 minutes later, you will move up to the next stage. Just 20 minutes there. Looking around, cuttlefish, a school of squid, some new jellyfish drifting by. Those weren't here yesterday. When you finally make it to the swing set, 10 meters deep, you might as well get comfortable. You're going to be there for a long time. Find a way to entertain yourself. Recite a poem. Try and memorize the Ming Dynasty emperors in order. Inspect your fingerprints. Look for critters. Every 30 minutes, another team of divers crashes through the surface on their way to the bottom. And behind you, slowly, the teams that had been before become visible on the ascent line. Some blennies have taken up residence on the swings. Normally, they're bottom dwellers. They flit around you like you are a planetoid they had longed for, building nests, imagining building nests, here and there, maybe between your upper lip and the mast. Overnight, squid had laid eggs on a rope. Jellyfish swarms come through, this time stinging jellies, thick and you can't avoid them, stinging your exposed skin. You huddle on the line as if in a storm, your face tucked inside your BC jacket. When you finally emerge on the surface, the chief diver offers some snide commentary, and then you climb gently up the ladder onto the deck of the barge, reminded once again of the weight of your gear in this other world. It's mid-morning, it's brilliant, and the crates are still warm.